So you already got 3 people watching. Hey, so if you're watching this live, go ahead and comment in the chat where you're watching from. We're just going to sit and have a breakfast chat. We can
Right.
talk about business, finances, much more, and also, just answer any questions that you guys might have. So it's Friday, we're quarantined, and I just got off a GSD morning accountability call where we hopped on at 8 a.m. on Zoom and really just spent the last 2 hours working on getting stuff done, right? Accomplishing some of our to-do lists, getting tasks, following up with prospects, really moving the needle in our business. So I definitely implore you guys, if you have, people around you, family, friends, coworkers, or if you're in a community, such as tax and accounting clients on demand, get together on Zoom. Zoom is free for like 45 minutes. Get together on Zoom and just hold each other accountable and actually work towards your goals. So I'm here with some of the people on Zoom. I don't know if you can see them, but you definitely can see Mr. Flowers, Mr. Reggie Flowers.
Good
Reggie, go
morning.
ahead and introduce everybody again and let them know who you are.
Absolutely. Well, first, thank you for having me on here, and I'm excited to be here. So for those of you who are meeting for the first time, good morning wherever you are. But just a little background on me. Very much like Miss Tyus here, I'm an entrepreneur. I started at the age of 19. I began my journey first in the industry of network marketing. So I really focused on building with just one company for 11 years, built my first $1 million company there, lost my first $1 million company there. And through that experience, I journeyed off into becoming an author. I wrote a book called The Art of the Struggle, because clearly there was struggle when you lose $1 million business in your mid-20s. And there was an opportunity for refinement, reconnecting with God, just make sure I was spiritually aligned. Then from there, I journeyed off into consulting for both publicly and privately traded network marketing companies, which led me then into international business, trade, and commodities. And then I created a company that we own now, about 7 portfolio companies that are in fintech, real estate, and then trading commodities. And now I'm entering a season where I'm divesting out of that and have become the founder of a pretty unique tech company that's going to be launching pretty soon. I'm quite excited about. I had to I can't release that information yet. It's still proprietary. But no, I'm a single father of 3, a widower. And so, the last few years of my life have been an interesting journey. I was fortunate enough to meet this beautiful young lady through business, right? And we sat down and had several conversations at Starbucks, just really masterminding. I mean, that was the objective. She said that she was seeking strategic alliances, and she felt like I was someone that was worthy of that conversation, and I was honored to have that conversation. And we would just really talk about the future of not only our vision, but the people that we can create impact for, the people that we can inspire. And let me tell you, when we first sat down, the Krista you all have grown to know today was not that same Krista. The ambition was there, the desire is there, but watching how you've transformed in such a very short period of time is a true testament to not only God's favor over your life, but it's also a true testament that when you decide to grow as an individual and really expand your capacity and your capability, what's possible. Now when I walk through that beautiful home on the lake and just look at what you created, to know I was here when you were in the apartment, and then to see you in the estate, right? Just that rapid transformation. So I think for those of you who are tuning in this morning, you want to get your pen, your paper out, and you want to listen carefully, because both of us have experienced highs, many lows, highs, and a low, and then that trajectory to extraordinary is on its way. And I think there's so much you can pull from individuals who've had the fortitude, the resilience, had the tenacious attitude, and the strategies that they implemented. Like, we both represent different industries, but we have similarities. I own a company called Top Summit, which works with women entrepreneurs. I mean, we've had the likes of Rachel Hollis on our stage. We've had so many great speakers in that environment. And so I understand what people are going through in the marketplace and what they're seeking right now. And I think that you are truly an example, Krista, of what is possible if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to believe, and if you're willing to align with the right people. And that's exactly what you've done. And now you're continuing to sow that forward into your organization, and they're blessed as a result to be able to follow you.
Thank you, Reggie. You're so well spoken, isn't he, guys? He's so articulate. He just thank you. I appreciate that. One of the things that I was talking to my community about yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
the theme of our coaching call was stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Mm.
And yeah, and so what I really wanted to impart on them yesterday was, the economy is going to reopen. And when the economy reopens, two things are going to happen. One is going to be a resurgence of economic activity. There is probably going to be a slow curve going up because initially a lot of people still might be fearful, right? Really, can they trust that, they're safe and that their themselves and their families and their children's lives are not at stake. So it'll be a slow resurgence, but there will be a resurgence. The second thing that might happen based upon that slow resurgence is that there may be a second round of stimulus, both
Mm-hmm.
to individuals and businesses. And we
Yes.
don't know, exactly what, or when that will happen. And so what I was telling my community yesterday was, the people that like the SBA funds went immediately fast, right? As soon as they were announced, they were almost within record time accounted for. So when you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, which means that you don't have to miss out on opportunity. Right.
Right.
And a lot of people miss out on opportunity because they just wasn't ready for the time. There are a lot
Right.
of people that missed out on the last recession in 2008 because they weren't prepared. They weren't ready for an economic downturn. They weren't prepared for the real estate market to shift. But you and I both know that there were a lot of people also during that time that made wildly profitable decisions that
Absolutely.
10x their money. So now what I wanted to just do and what I wanted to just take on this live is understanding what could possibly happen over the next 12 to 18 months and how can all of you stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Mm. Okay. So I think, are you want me to start or, okay, I just want to make sure I'm respectful of the dynamic here. So staying ready is also equivalent to like mastery, right? So you have a craft. And I think the nemesis of most people's craft of staying ready is indecision, right? Indecisiveness. And so a lot of people are unclear. And in order to stay ready, you have to be clear on your intention. You have to be clear on your purpose and your business and what that trajectory or ascension looks like. Because if you're unclear, you can't get ready, right? It's like the equivalent of not knowing what outfit you want to put on, right? You're in your closet, you know you have an event at 7 o'clock, it's 5:30, and you don't know what to wear. So that indecisiveness causes you to do what? Lose time, and potentially end up late, and being late could be potentially losing opportunity. However, if the night before you laid out that outfit and you were clear on what it was going to look like, how it was going to fit, what accessories were going to go with it, what bag you're going to wear with it, right? You're clear on it, so therefore you can step into it, you can get prepared faster, and you can go to the event quicker. So business is no different. You have to take time right now, this morning, to really become clear on what it is you desire from your business, and then really begin to outline the roadmap to getting to your goals, right? So everybody can write down what revenue they want, how many customers they want, but where people fail to really get ready is in the operations, right? The strategy, the day-to-day methods, and what's, the accountability, all the minute things that are required in order for one to do what they need to do is where the preparation comes from. So I think step one is, just like it says in the good book, right? Be clear, right? You mean write down your vision and make it plain. There's a reason for that, because once it's plain, you take it out of the spiritual into the physical, and then you can see it, you can conceive it, and then your belief steps into it. So you need to be very clear on, if you're going to go from being, like I heard the young lady saying that her goal is to make 1 million, right? And that's always the first step. That's always the first goal, right? To create 1 million, whether in cash or assets or whatever it is. And I remember the first time I was in that focus, like I got to get that first 1 million. And through time, you realize that it wasn't the big goal that really mattered. It was actually the small steps getting to that big goal, which was really matter. And I think the person you have to become in the process. So if you're taking note, first step is be clear on where you're going. Step two is you got to be willing to grow into that person, because who you are right now and the person that makes the million, the 10 million, they're not the same person. But what you can do is imagine what the future version of you desires to be and then work towards that. So like fast forward a year from now, 2 years from now, you've made your million. What does that person look like? Write down the characteristics. What are the qualities of that person, right? What's their integrity like? What's their character like? What is their work ethic like? Where's their philanthropy like? How are they serving other people? What value are they bringing to the market? If you can begin to write those characteristics down and become clear on them, then what will happen is you will spend time with that future person. And that's the magic. When you begin futuring your conversation, futuring your belief, and spending time, then it transcends back to where you're at. And you begin to take the necessary actions, the belief system develops to a way where you believe it is real. And I'm sure, Krista, it was the same for you, and I'll turn it back over. But remember the first time you walked through a $1 million home because you were dreaming, and there was the experience of detachment where you're like, one day I can have this. And then there was a season when you walk back through a multi-million-dollar home and you're like, I'm going to own this. It's just a matter of time now. Mm-hmm. So that person that went from it's possible to the person knowing, even though neither one of those people could buy that house in that moment, was just a mindset. Mm-hmm. And so starting with the mindset to be ready, so you don't have to get ready, means that you already know where you're going, so you're preparing. Like I remember preparing for things that I didn't even know why I was doing it, right? When I look back, but then I fast forwarded like 2 or 3 years from now and the opportunity would present itself. And I'm like, oh, I already got that. I worked on that like a year ago, or I prepared that a year ago. And some of you just have to be willing to put in the work.
Yes, I love that. I love that you said the vision, the mindset. One of the things that I did a long time ago, like you said, one was the vision. So when I first got into real estate, I got licensed as a real estate agent. For those of you who don't already know that, I would intentionally preview all of the luxury listings in the area. And I remember very vividly feeling uncomfortable, feeling like, oof, like walking in the house, feeling like undeservedness, right? Like I am literally walking through $1 million home knowing dang well I could barely afford my $1,000 per month rent. But what I did was start to appreciate, the environment and really start to envision me and my family in that environment. And I would consistently do that. And then I decided like, okay, Krista, you want to be a luxury real estate agent, right? Like, and then I had to work through a lot of resistance with that because I'm like, who am I to sell luxury real estate? And I can't even afford a luxury house, right? I'm not even seasoned. I just got into real estate. So I had to break a lot of limiting beliefs, and that's the quickest way that you're going to be able to get to your end result. So right now, if your goal is to make $1 million, and I had the same goal, I said, I want to make $1 million by the time I'm 30. It was a hard goal. I said, if I didn't make this million by the time I'm 30, like I literally thought my world was going to end. I was just like, the world would be over. I'm just going to croak over. And that's just it. If I didn't make this $1 million. And so the funny thing that happened, and I'm going to say this to Leanna, because you just mentioned this, what I would advise, and I'm glad I'm just not remembering it. There is a law that says, as you give it more time, it's going to take more time. And if you shorten the time, you're going to get there quicker, right? So it's an eloquent way to say that. I can't think of it now, but here's what it did. The closer I got to 30 years old, the more action I was taking. My 29th birthday, I was like, Krista, you still don't know how to make $1 million. Krista, you still don't got a product out there that's going to get you to $1 million. You're still confused. You're still on a struggle bus. And I remember feeling the fire up underneath me, right? I was like, oh my God, I'm about to be 30 and I'm not there. And I set this goal and I was like 25. So if you have a goal to make $1 million, condense the time frame, because what happens is you're going to take more action. When I was 28, I was like dibble dabbling. I was like, okay, I can start this. I can do this. Everything was easy because I was like, I got a few more years. But what we underestimate is how much work is actually required to get there. It's a lot of work. So when I turned 29, you can vividly see, I have it documented. 28, I dabbled in 2 or 3 things when I was 28. I was still doing my tax and bookkeeping business. I was in real estate, right? So I'm trying to create these multiple streams of income. Okay. So I'm doing bookkeeping, accounting, and taxes, and I'm dabbling in real estate. And I was like, okay, I can sell a few luxury listings, I can, get some tax clients, get some bookkeeping clients, and this is how I'm going to make my $1 million. But there wasn't any fire up underneath me, right? There wasn't any swiftness that I was coming about that with, right? When I turned 29, there is a notebook and there's a sheet that I created of all the businesses and all the ideas that I started when I was 29, because I had this sense of urgency. That's the word I was looking for. It was a sense of urgency that I had. So at 29 years old, from the time I turned 29 to the time I turned 30, I had over 100 business ideas. And half of them I actually implemented. Like I was just trying stuff like, let me try this, let me try that. I was just pushing stuff out there, right? Just trying to figure out what I wanted to do, like what I really desired to do. So the key and the moral of the story is condense your time frame. If you want to make $1 million, have a sense of urgency about it. Like, I got to do this now. Like, what's the plan now, right? 2, don't try to do it by yourself, because if I had someone to actually help me figure out what I was best at, like there was no reason why I should have went through 100 business ideas, Reggie, that year, right? Because Krista, you grew a tax and bookkeeping business to 6 figures. Why didn't I just stay in my lane? I was too busy trying to watch everybody doing what they were doing, trying to, mimic after them. I'm like, oh, but this person is doing this, that person is doing that. I don't want to just be the tax and bookkeeping lady, right? I didn't want to niche down. And so that caused me a whole year and delayed my progress to making $1 million, because I wanted to do everything else but what I was really good at. So my last piece of advice on this part is, what are you good at? What is your area of expertise? What can you talk about right now and be confident and secure and actually close a deal? What could you do and get paid on right now? That's what you need to focus on. Too many of us have the ideology that we really, I really want to do real estate, or I really can see myself as this, that, and the third, but we negate what we already have experience in, what we're already good, what our zone of genius is. Cultivate that, nurture that, push forward with that. The second thing that I want to say is, Reggie, you mentioned the vision, the mindset. So systematically tackling that, I didn't feel worthy. There is a huge discrepancy if you think one thing but feel another thing. You cannot reach your goals in life if what you think and what you feel aren't in harmony. Mm-hmm. So if you think that you want to make $1 million, but you feel like you really undeserve it, that you don't deserve that, it's not going to happen. So what you really want to do and focus on is, how can you have your mind match your heart? And that's when things are just going to start naturally flowing for you. What you think and what you feel have to resonate. They have to become one. They have to be harmonious.
Mm-hmm. I know you made a statement. Was that a question too?
Babe, you're supposed to be jumping in. This is how guys. You're just supposed to be jumping.
I'm on it. I already have the answer, so it's okay. And you paused, and I didn't know if you're still rolling or not. So what you described is when we're incongruent, right? When we're out of alignment, both sometimes spiritually and physically. And so getting into alignment is really the key element to accelerating success. And so I think one of the things that we all have to work on is our belief system, right? The system in which it supports the way we believe, right? And the way we believe causes behavior. Behavior predicts actions, and actions produce results. And so when you look at your current results and then you reverse back into that, you can quickly realize when you're being aware. And I think that is the challenge of most entrepreneurs, or anyone that's striving for greatness. You have to become acutely aware of how you're behaving, how you're thinking, what's coming out of your mouth. Mm-hmm. And the way to begin to shift all that is changing the inputs, right? because you're nothing more than a reflection of what's being input into you currently consistently. Now, some of you may say, Reggie, we're reading the books. We're on the Zooms right now, right? Like we're putting forth the effort. However, if I sat next to you like a fly on the wall, what would I hear come out of your mouth consistently? What kind of language are you using consistently? What environment are you looking at? And so you may say, well, you are in your big homes now, but it wasn't like this, right? So we had to create these environments fictitiously, right, in a way, in order to produce the results we wanted. So I think the first thing is you have to understand your belief system and the inputs. And the first thing you got to work on is what you see. So what you see is an input. And so if what you see in the immediate is not it's in conflict with the vision, then you have to find your vision, fall in love with your vision, and then secondarily create an environment. So before you have it, you can print it, you can save it on your computer. Some people call them dream boards. I mean, this device right here, if you have what's important to you on that device, and as soon as you open it up, unlock it, and it's right in front of you, then what you're conditioning your subconscious to do is say, this is mine. And once it becomes the ownership, and you take the onus of ownership of whatever you're working on, you automatically begin gravitating towards it. Like our brains are so brilliant. Even though they're primitive and they're old, they still work very clear. They don't like to be wrong. And once you make a decision, our reticular activating system is like a navigational piece where it now begins to identify what it needs in order to produce the end result. So going back to clarity. So if you focus on your inputs, which is your vision, then your environment. So even if your home is like you were an apartment, right? Yeah. But that apartment in your mind, I remember walking into it and you got a big whiteboard, right? You got multiple desks, like it was a global enterprise in your mind, in your apartment, right? So when you walked into your apartment, it wasn't just an apartment. It was the headquarters to Krista Tyers and Associates globally, right? And therefore, you conducted yourself that way. You worked that way, even though it was a small apartment. But what was the difference? Just how you conceived it, right? Therefore, your belief backed it. And then you have to, so you got sight, you got your environment, and then what comes out of your mouth, right? Because what we, like you said, the power of life can be, life and death is in our tongue. So what are you giving life to? What are you speaking to? And I remember a season of like, it was a really, really challenging time. And I would come home and they would be like, what's wrong? And now that's a normal question to anyone that's around, friends, family members, loved ones, whoever it is. And you want to tell them what's wrong, but then you're giving life to the problem that you don't want. So I remember saying nothing because I didn't want to give life to it. And they were like, oh, you don't want to talk about it. Correct. Because until I could articulate in a way that gave life to what I wanted to do and sow the right seed, I couldn't discuss it. And so some of you right now are giving death to your business. You're giving death to your dreams because you're speaking out your circumstances. You're speaking out what you see and what you feel. So it's okay to feel, but you don't have to release what you feel. You don't have to look like how you feel either, right? You can show up in the marketplace being an adult, is what I call it, adulting, and just make the decision to say, look, I'm going to create an environment that inspires me. I'm going to only focus on inputs that help improve me. So what I'm reading, what I'm watching, some of you just got to get on a regimen. You have to get on an entertainment diet. You have to get on a friend diet, a season of separation. All of us experience a season of separation where we had to separate ourselves from the masses, the people we grew up with, the people we love, we care about, because the direction they're heading in, the direction that we're going, weren't congruent.
Right.
So you can't be like, I want to be this ultra success, and then spending time with those who are talking about what high school used to be like, right? What college used to be like, what drama is going on in someone's life, right? There's no value in that, but it's entertaining. It keeps us away from our reality. And so what you have to focus on is creating your reality mentally and then giving life to it and then supporting that. And one of the things you said too was, you remember like you said, people are in conflict emotionally, but one of the things that brings congruency is association. So before you have people in your life that are already doing extremely well, you can associate with those individuals indirectly. You're doing it right now. You can do it through YouTube. I remember, liking people like Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins on my Facebook page. So not only was I reading the content, but their content would pop up in front of me on my Instagram, on my Facebook. So now I'm gonna stop and read. Same thing right now, like the people who are where you want to be, you want them in your feed. The people where you want to be, you want them in your feed. Look, I'm about to start rapping out here, okay? But you want them in your feed because then it's going to get into your subconscious because you're going to read what they're doing, what they're working on, and it's going to remind you of the vision. So you got to keep everything in front of you. Wherever you're going, it needs to stay in front of you, and especially during the seasons where it's not represented physically and you're working on it mentally, you got to keep it in front of you. You got to become aware of what comes out of your mouth, what you see with your eyes, and what you hear. Stop taking advice from people who are not where you want to be. If you would not trade places with them, do not listen to them during the season. And I had to learn it even with my mom, right? Like my mother was a great, hardworking social worker, but we could not have financial conversations because her value in money was, I'm gonna get a check every 2 weeks, I'm gonna spend. And if I was going to become a very wealthy, successful entrepreneur, I couldn't maintain that concept. So it was in conflict. So I had to be like, if it's not going to be related to social work or children, I wasn't going to adhere to my mom's counsel. But when it came to finances, I listened to my mentors who are multimillionaires or billionaires that I followed online because that was the guidance I needed in order to get into their shoes.
Right. Yes. So there's a part in the Bible, I'm not sure which part, but there's a part that says, let the poor say I'm rich and let the sick say I'm healthy. So that just goes to your point that not speaking life into the negative stuff. So if you're sick, say I'm healthy. If you're poor, say I'm rich, right? And even then, like you guys are going to see us a lot of correlations of like mindset and affirmations in the Bible that you can discover that can actually help you just become the person that you want to become, right? One of the things that I did was, I knew I wanted to become a millionaire. I knew I wanted to become wealthy. And I knew I had to start behaving like the millionaire Krista, right? What would she do? So the millionaire Krista works out 5 times a week and she meal preps, right? The millionaire Krista wakes up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and she's tackling her day with, tenacity, with focus, with relentlessness, right? The millionaire Krista, solves people's problems and can clearly, articulate how she helps people, right? She gives more value than what she receives. The millionaire Krista, saves 20, 30, 40% of the income that she receives, right? The millionaire Krista spends quality, daily, focused attention with her children. And so when I was clear on what does that woman look like? What does she do? How does she behave? I started behaving like that. And like you said, it's not the end result. It's those micro steps to the end result. It's the daily actions to that end result. It's the habits. That was one thing that I discovered last year. It's not that you guys lack the skill, the talent. Your habits just suck, right? My habits were whack. Before tapping into the millionaire Krista, I would wake up every day at noon and I would just be like, I don't know what I'm doing today. I don't know. Like, I guess I'll try doing this, and it was just like winging it. But when I had intention about my day and when I actually listed down, like, what are the top 2 to 3 things that's actually going to get me to my goals, that's actually going to contribute to me becoming a millionaire, I set a schedule to do those things every single day. So for me, it was creating content. For me, it was connecting with my ideal clients using social media, right? Just with those 2 KPIs, if I focused on that every single day, creating content, connecting with people who need my help, creating content, connecting with people who need my help, I slowly but surely started to grow my business. Everything started to snowball. And what happens is I went from, and I'm actually going to, I don't know if I posted this, but I'll post it soon. But I actually went from $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 to $18,000. Like it was a snowball to where I jumped from $37,000 in a month to $69,000 in a month, right? It was a quantum leap in improvement. But and what I used to think was, oh, I'm going to go from 0 to 100 real quick, right? We start to channel Drake and we think that we're just going to get there with lightning speed. My success was an incremental assess until it kind of quantum leaped. And I haven't even scratched the surface. Like the income that I made right now, I haven't even scratched the surface. There's going to be an even bigger quantum leap, tens of millions of dollars. Yeah. And people are going to be like, how the heck did she do that? where did that come from, right? But it was the small daily actions that I focused on. I focused on what are the 1 to 2 items that's actually going to get me to that goal, and how can I just be consistent with that? So what you can practice is 3 areas that you need to practice discipline and habits. The first one is your health, because that's most important. You know, people say health is wealth, right? So what's the one thing that you can do every single day that you could just stay consistent on? Do the one thing. This could be working out. This can just be eating a healthy meal. Try one thing and see if you can stay consistent on it. If you can't stay consistent with, you know, working out or, you know, feeding your body with fuel, like actually healthy foods that's actually going to fuel you, fuel your body, fuel your brain, it's going to be really hard to do that with business, right? So try it out with your health. The second thing that you can do is your wealth. So as soon as you get money in, I want you to immediately save 10, 20, 30%. Save as much as you can, but let's set a small goal. Save 10% of every dollar that you receive, save 10 cents of it, right? And consistently do that for 30 days. You need to demonstrate to yourself, if you want to become a millionaire, that you have good habits, that you can be consistent, because those are the 2 things that's actually going to get you to your goals. Is, are you consistent, and do you have positive habits? The last thing is in your love, right? Pick one thing, and it could be self-love, right? It could be affirmations to yourself. It could be dedicated, 1 hour dedicated focused attention with your children. No tablets, no phones. You guys just playing a board game or something like that, playing Uno. But build 3 core habits around your health, wealth, and love, and see if you can do that consistently for a week.
No, I think those are spot on. And it's great when you have accountability between people, because you get to watch this whole process unfold, right? And so I look at some of my closest friends that I speak to on a multiple times per daily basis. And I would say out of the 3 or 4 that I speak to, at least 3 out of the 4 are either single or deca millionaires, right? One trajecting very close to be a 9-figure, guy. And we're all in alignment with our conversations. We're all in alignment with accountability. And so, we've created a community, an ecosystem of that level. And we've all been graduating roughly consistently. And so I think right now, for those of you who have questions, this would be a great time, because we can go back and forth and think about what could be on someone's mind. But answering the questions is key, because, it's been a 15-year journey for me. It's been a, 10+ year journey for you. So try to get all that one conversation is impossible, right? But there are specifics. There are things like, I hired a trainer that made a difference in my accountability to my body when I needed to drop. I mean, I had never been fat ever in my life, right? Ever. And then I was up like 20 pounds. And I was like, I don't even know how to do it. I don't know how to get rid of this, right? I've been skinny all my life. So we all need help sometimes, right? And that's the key thing, is realizing that no matter how great you may believe you are, and you are, but we all need help. And as you said it, Krista, we can't do it by ourselves, right? Together we achieve more, right? So team is everything. And I think in this season, you talked about on the prior call, right? Not having to get ready. Like some of you, when the reopening of the economy shows up, your income will be a great scoreboard determining what you were doing during the downtime. Were you preparing? Were you focused? Were you getting ready, or were you panicking? Were you worrying? Were you listening to the propaganda? And, the conversations that we were having internally was, while they're worried about distracting the masses, we're going to focus on the opportunities, because it was a distraction, right? It was a pure distraction. Yes, there was a real pandemic, but a real pandemic is when you look at like the Spanish flu. That's a pandemic. That thing was doing some things. And so when I look at how the manipulation of man really works, you begin to see the game differently. And you begin to say, okay, like when the moment COVID-19 emerged, I knew immediately things were about to go on sale, opportunities are going to present themselves, and how will we capitalize? Like that's where my mind went, versus, oh my gosh, my family. Yeah, you have to respect it, but you don't have to give life to it. And I think that's the difference between those that are going to take full advantage of the reopening versus those who don't, is they gave life to it, while the others respected it,
Mm.
they didn't give honor to it, but they know coming out of this, my family's tree is about to change, or my goals are going to be met now because I can compress time, right? Because while people are frazzled and concerned, those who are focused will be able to take full advantage of people's displacement and helping guide them, helping direct them, helping provide peace and sustainability in people's lives again. Those individuals are going to create tech opportunities. You're going to provide service-based opportunities. Those of you who are in the accounting space and financial realm, you're going to come into a place where now you become a partner. I want you to imagine, because I was thinking about it, like if I was a CPA right now, right? And I understand to help you get back on track and in the process, what else would I provide? Well, I would have took time away to really understand business and understanding this online digital economy. And so I can help my clients say, look, here's what we're going to do next time so you never go through this again. Like the one lady said, a lot of my clients are hairdressers. Now, this is just a thought that popped in my head, but I thought, if I'm a hairdresser, instead of sitting at home making no money, what can I do using the digital economy to make money? I can create a course teaching women how to better prepare their hair or grow their hair from home. Or I could go live every day and charge people $10 or $15 to show them how to do their hair the way I do it, right? There's innovation in this opportunity, and you as the individual can provide those resources, those tools, those strategies. And now they feel like a strategic partner. And then the conversation I'm going to have is, how can I partner with you? Because I already know that once the economy realigns, that you're my client. I know your books. I know your revenue. If I can help you now, can I participate? And some of you will become private equity investors because of your IP. Because you're going to be able to help companies get back on track. And then you're going to look up and you own like 10 companies. The same ones that you've been servicing, now you own a piece of. And now you begin to grow your global empire or your national empire because you're thinking globally, you're thinking higher. And so this is the way of looking at it. So how can you add value? I was thinking about the nail techs. Look, people can go to CVS, get the equipment, and you could go live and say, look, we're going to have a pamper party together and charge them to get on, have some music playing, and then you show them exactly how you're doing your nails, the strategy to do your nails, record it. They can keep the recording, and you're generating money online with how-tos.
Yep.
But it takes you as the person to help them see another option that's not in their mind readily available because they're contracting. They're fearful. While they're contracting, you can expand, you can grow, you can show them opportunity. And I'm telling you, some of you right now will become multimillionaires a year from now just off of this conversation alone.
Prophesizing, Red. You prophesizing. I love that. Yo, actually, I just had this exactly what you just said. I just had this exact same conversation with my members like 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, how can you guys help them be creative? Because right now they're stuck in fear, right? Which reminds me of a story really quick, and we're going to hop off, guys. So if you have any questions before we call it a day, you better hop in there and ask us. But I wanted just to tell you guys a story really to reiterate and embed in your subconscious mind what Reginald just said. What he said was, if you're fearful during this time and you start contracting, you're going to lose out, right? Like you're going to attract that which you're fearful of, right? And so there was a business, there was I think it was a hot dog owner or something, a hot dog stand in New York, right? And not during this time, but his son came to him. He was a thriving hot dog cart, right? He was selling hot dogs left and right. People were coming to him. Like they loved his hot dog cart, right? His son came to him and was like, Dad, there's a recession coming up and, businesses are going to be hit the hardest, right? His dad was like, a recession? He was like, yeah, Dad, like, you better be careful out there, right? So his son planted that negative seed. Then what happened, the father, as a result of that negative seed being planted, started behaving in a way that called in exactly what his thoughts was, exactly what that seed was. He stopped marketing because he was like, oh no, it's a recession. Let me pull back on my marketing so I could save some money, right? He stopped, buying certain products. He used less premium products because, oh no, the recession is coming. Let me cut back on my products and the premium products that I used to buy. The moral of the story is the father went out of business not because of the recession. He went out of business because the actions that he systematically took after that negative seed was planted in his subconscious, he started pulling back. He started retracting during that time. He stopped his marketing. He lessened, or the quality of his products declined. And those factors were the real reason why his business didn't survive during that time. So I tell this story for you guys so you could just plant it in your mind that if you think something bad is going to happen, you're going to start behaving in a way that's going to start attracting that. All right. So let me just reiterate that so you can deeply plan it, right, Reg? If you think something negative is going to happen,
let's go.
Your behavior, you're going to start attracting that because your behavior is going to start calling in that what you think that you're trying to avoid. You're trying to avoid it in your mind, but then your behavior is saying otherwise, right? So don't do that, guys. Be in a state of abundance. Yeah, listen to the news or listen to your grandmother, but don't internalize it. And don't let it detract you from your purpose. Don't let it detract you from helping the people that you're meant to help, from growing the life that you're meant to live. Because like I said, there's always winners and losers. The losers are the people that are going to retract during this time. The people that think that there's not enough, there's a lack of money going around. You know, there isn't any opportunity. Oh man, only the rich people are getting more money. Millionaires are becoming more wealthy, right? Those people are going to be losers during this time, because of their mindset. The people that are going to be winners is, bam, I got laid off, but how I can actually, turn this into a positive. Actually, now I have more time to start my business. Now I have more time to invest in a new skill set. Now I have more time to go out and get clients consistently, to now comfortably build the life that I was meant to live. I'm just going to accept this as my calling, right? My destiny. This happened for a positive reason. So when you guys start to systematically change your mindset and reframe those negative aspects, you're going to call in those positive opportunities. Next thing you know, it's going to be people around you willing, ready, and able to help you bring your goals to fruition, right? You're going to be getting money. You're going to be closing clients, all because you decided to stay on the positive trajectory and not let this time contract you and leave you in fear. Absolutely. All right, guys. So that's all we have for today.
Yeah. Yeah, that fire. Krista Tyers, the gentleman, bringing that fire.
Okay.
Got me excited.
So, side little story before we hop off. Reggie used to, and this is a little personal thing that you guys don't know, but when Reggie was growing up, he was called Pastor Reg. Right, Reggie? And he, in his mind, did you say you wanted to become a pastor, or?
No, I was resisting the conversation. So
he was resisting. And in my mind, I'm going to tell you guys, when I used to go to church with my grandmother, with my aunt, I used to be up there looking at the first ladies, and they were so pretty with their, their outfits. And I would see them with their handkerchiefs, and their husbands, the pastors, would be up preaching their hearts out, and the wives would be behind them waving their handkerchiefs, their handkerchiefs, like, yes, baby, like, like backing him up, like, yes, do that, preach that, prophesize that. And I knew then, I was like, oh, I want to be a first lady. Like, I just knew, I was just like, I want to be up there with my beautiful dress on, my hair done. And I'm like, right? So it's like, it's synergies, Reg. I tell you.
It is. Listen, one day we just need to just tell the whole story, right? Because we didn't even have a choice. Like, we didn't have a choice in this matter. Like, we just had to be obedient. That's all we did. We're just like, whatever. We'll just listen. Okay, God, you win. We'll just be obedient. We're not going to be fighting it. So.
Right. Oh, Leanna's funny. She said she wanted to slap some money on the altar. This was amazing. Yeah, we got to start taking some collections, Reggie.
Right. I can see it now. Natasha loves it there too. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, this was beautiful. I'm going to read the Bible after this. But yeah.
Right.
Okay.
All right, guys. I love you. I adore you. If you have any questions, comment below. Hit me up on email, hello@kristatyers.com. Slide in my DMs. Whatever you need support with, don't be shy. Don't be a stranger. I'm here for you. And I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys. Bye, Reggie. Bye, Destiny. Bye, Krista. Bye, guys.